we're moving on to the next topic at hand. Now, nMo fans, do you remember a rant video that I put out there and some other video editing of this Devil May Cry reboot?
God.
Now, you see, Nelson is already, it's like a bull ready to come out of the rodeo. And here's my thing. I haven't warmed up to the game as of yet. My thing is that the gameplay is starting to look a little more interesting to me. I'm not reneging on anything I said about what fucking Ninja Theory is doing. I'm just looking at it like, okay, the game looks interesting, the gameplay-wise, but Ninja Theory must get it into their head that redesign for Dante is not going to work. You know, it's just, it may be a great game, it may be fun and all that, but people are not going to accept it. And on top of that, they had the audacity for PlayStation Fighting All-Stars to put that new Dante in there, where the old Dante was the one that helped make PlayStation, it was almost like Mega Man to Capcom, where Dante is to Sony in terms of the popularity of the PlayStation 2, you know, because I got a PlayStation 2 solely because of Devil May Cry. So instead of putting the icon version of Dante in the PlayStation Fighting All-Stars, you put this new one that you don't even know how people are going to respond to that yet, you know, and that game is coming out November 20th, I believe, sometime around Thanksgiving, and Devil May Cry Reboot won't be out till January 15th. What the hell were they thinking? You know, that's number one. But two, the trailer reveals Virgil in there. I mean, it's good to see Virgil and everything. He looks more like his old self in the other Devil May Cry series. But why couldn't Dante get that same treatment? You know what I mean? They radically went in a different direction with him. But I know Alpha Megasin and a whole bunch of other guys already put their 2 cents in there, but I'm gonna let the bucking bull Nelson go first, then we'll go to Nupe and On Your Knees. But Nelson, what are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I'm just gonna let everybody know, if y'all watched the another podcast that we had of this whole Devil May Cry thing. I despise Ninja Theory of trying to make a game that was very successful from Capcom's end. They made 3 games. I don't count Devil May Cry 2 because that game was ass. Might as well have been made by Ninja Theory as well. But the way how this game is made, I'm not trying to be racist or in any other way possible. But I'm letting you know that this game look like it's made for rednecks. It's not made for normal society. Dante, first off, has some...
Before you continue, nMo fans, Fighting Game League fans, those expressions, the views of the nMo staff, Fighting Game League staff, are not solely those of nMo CEO staff. I'm just saying. So, you know, Nelson, continue.
All right, so continue what I was saying, the game looked like it was made for rednecks, so it could be dumbed down. You made Dante into what they call him, a sexual deviant, and a fucking like a predator to like society or whatever. This motherfucker, in the first trailer that I saw, he had a oily, greased up, gray ass shirt. He was swimming in midair with some nasty cargo fucking pants and a raggedy ass red jacket. But wait, he transforms, he becomes regular Dante. Are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious?
The jacket and white hair.
The jacket and white hair and everything. And then they insult me.
That's his devil trigger, by the way.
Right. But now they insult me and fucking put some disgusting looking Virgil, who's actually does not have the same voice, and he's much more, I don't know what you would call it, but he doesn't have his badass persona no more. He's like a police officer. Yeah, he's more emotional. Like, what the fuck? This dude was never emotional. And I just don't like the fact how they're tying in the story. Like, Mundus is back, and apparently he's like an Italian mob boss. Like, are you fucking serious?
Really?
Like, are you fucking serious?
Really?
Like, this whole game is a piece of shit. Ninja Theory is a piece of shit, and they just need to stop making this game.
Ooh.
That's it. That's the end
Sound
of
effects
my.
galore.
That's the end of my story with that.
Well, before I give nMo.ge.e.n the floor, nMo fans just know we're going to be going to Comic-Con this year. It's a little harder process because, I can't confirm anything yet. I just have to go through the media accreditation. But, we will be playing that new Devil May Cry with that demo that they've been taking to each convention. So, Nelson, we're probably going to have Nelson playing.
I knew it.
Playing.
I knew it.
We're really going to get into that. Every nook, every crack. If there's any... Anyway, nMo.ge.e.n, what are your thoughts on the new Devil May Cry?
Wow.
Just say that game is ass. Just say that game is ass. That's it.
No, I'm not going to say that. In their defense, but not in their defense, Devil May Cry for me in the past, it was about the story, but it wasn't. It was mostly about having this, super bad character going out there kicking everybody's butt. You were never really attached to Dante. You didn't really care if he lived or died. You just wanted to get on to the next thing that you could beat up. It seems like this game is a little bit more story-driven, a little more emotional. Like you said, his brother Virgil is like more of an older mentor type of brother. Like, yeah, let's work together. You don't have to be this rebel. We need to save mankind. What I've seen in the trailer. And it seems like they're going for more of an emotional, story-driven game, with the action thrown in there. Kind of reminds me of like a Mass Effect type. Mass Effect really drew you into the characters. And, like, you can't stop playing. Like, when you start playing Mass Effect, you can't stop. And I think that's maybe the direction they're going in. But it's hard to do that when this franchise has already been established. They already have 4 games in the franchise, and you're taking a character that, people know and love, and you're transforming him into somebody completely different. I mean, it's an uphill battle.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's like they took Dante and put him in a blender and just fucked it up.
With flowers.
yeah. I mean, like, damn. But on your knees, what are your thoughts on that trailer that I sent you earlier today?
I'm just tired of reboots. There's no reason to reboot the series. It's still going. They released the last Devil May Cry 4, 2 years ago? There's no need to reboot this.
And not only that, they didn't even flesh out Nero's story and how he's tied to, how he is related to Sparta and Virgil. You know what I mean? It's like they could have done anything with that. It's just like you have the main story and then bam, okay, cut off. Where do we get the closure for Nero? And what I see that they're doing, guys, they're kind of mixing Nero's gameplay with Dante's gameplay. Because at some points, like in Devil May Cry 4, when I was playing as Nero, I actually preferred to play as Nero over Dante because, the grabbing and all that. So I see that in this game, and I see that they're just taking the best parts of Dante and Nero and making it into one character type, and then radically redesigning his image. More and more as I see the trailers go through, Dante's old personality is starting to resurface. You know what I mean? Like that whole thing with the smoking and all that. I guess they had such a violent reaction that you don't see it anymore. You know what I mean? But it remains to be seen. We haven't played the game. But overall, like, what are your final thoughts on that trailer before we move on to the next topic? And this is an open floor, so just feel free to jump in where you can.
I think reboots in general, just since this is a reboot, I think reboots in general are a company's way of saying, let's milk this for even longer. If I give you, like I said, there's already, let's say this is the 5th continuation. 6, 7, 8, that's kind of like, okay, wow, really? You're going that far? Versus, oh, it's a new series, it's a new story with familiar characters. Then they can probably release 4 more games, and people are going to look at it completely different because it's a different series. I think it's about the money.
That makes sense.
And the longevity, man.
Like what they did with Castlevania, Lords of Shadow, with that short trilogy that they rebooted. I think Castlevania needed it because the storyline just went off into crazy directions and way into the future and all that stuff. And
they should have just did the Julius Belmont installment and been done with it, but they never did.
Yeah, and go ahead on your knees. I'm sorry.
No, that's the one. At least that's the one I'm waiting for. I don't know who else is, but that's the one where you're supposed to finally seal away Dracula, but who the hell knows?
And considering what they did with the reboot, where Gabriel, the first Belmont, or he took the surname, is actually Dracula, and then Trevor, Alucard, and the family, like, all fall into the whole thing. I mean, that reboot needed to happen because, it just, okay, why are the Belmonts fighting Dracula? Like, that PS2 game where you had Leon Belmont fighting that, it wasn't even Dracula. You know what I mean? But you see, when in the new series, they actually have familial ties. And it's like, okay, you see why the Belmonts have to go after Dracula. They're the only ones it's their bloodline that they're the only ones strong enough to face him. Just like they showed that, or they explained in the Mirror of Fate trailer for the handheld. It's like, okay. So sometimes reboots can be good, but like look at Ninja Gaiden by Itagaki and Team Ninja. Originally, like when they rebooted it, it was supposed to be kind of like an add-on story, but like they made their own new story, and that was good. But this Devil May Cry thing,
Nah, it's ass.
I'm
sorry. We should just honestly forget this game ever came out. Forgotten how much money they fucking wasted on this game. And mind you, if you guys haven't already noticed already, the developer of Ninja Theory has said and quoted, "I do not care if it sold 10,000 copies or 2 million copies. We only made the game so that we can enjoy it and fuck everyone else." You know what? Fuck you, Ninja Theory. That's what I say about your shitty ass Devil May Cry game.
And I responded to that in a past podcast talking about that very same thing. If it weren't for the fans, the games wouldn't even be what they are. You know what I mean? To say that, oh, we just made it for us, that's stupid. That's suicide. Because if like me, you, and this round table here with Fighting Game League and nMo, we're looking at it like, really? You got some people, like some young kids, like they'll just eat up anything. Yay! But when you got something like the company doesn't care how much it sells, and then you ruin the name of Devil May Cry, and that's probably going to kill any further chance of sequels. You know what I mean? So
it really will. Especially since we are the generation who were introduced to Devil May Cry. We're the people who are attached to Devil May Cry. These younger kids, maybe they played Devil May Cry 4, but what are the chances they played 1, 2, and 3? Like, so you're really, that's like a direct slap in the face to the people you're pretty much trying to sell the game to, is the people who are familiar with the series.
And you see, Capcom is having a niche with slapping us in the face, and look at what they did with Mega Man and how they insulted us with that crap that they put in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, mind you, which isn't coming out for the Xbox version, even though the data's on the disc. So that's some messed up stuff. But anyway, now shifting gears into another topic, headphones in a fighting game tournament. Now,